Namaste everyone. This is Pallavi Kudtarkar and I'm excited to be a part of Humans of Telecom.
Hey everyone, a very warm welcome to Humans of Telecom, the Unplugged podcast. This is your host Anurag Aggarwal, Chief Growth Officer at Globe Teleservices. We have now successfully completed 10 episodes on this show, and the industry feedback has been phenomenal. Geographically, the guests range from all parts of the world, from US, UK, and Spain to Lebanon, Qatar, and Ukraine also. So I thought that this time, why not tap into a local celebrity and hear their story? Which brings us to today's episode about a woman in India who has truly broken all glass ceilings and corporate barriers and made her way to the top in a record period of time. While she appears to be an overnight success, I'm sure we'll get to know a lot more when we scratch below the surface. So please join me in welcoming Pallavi Kudtarkar, Executive Director at Globe Teleservices. Pallavi, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this journey. We'd love to hear more about you and from which part of the world are you joining this podcast today?
Thank you, Anurag, for having me here today at Humans of Telecom. I have been hearing a lot about all your previous episodes and they are really great. So, right now, I'm joining here from the financial capital of India, Mumbai. Very hot, humid, and warm out there. But I'm happy to be a part of this episode today.
Wonderful, Pallavi, and thank you once again. We are also excited to have you here on the show and hear more about your journey. So, why don't we start with understanding a bit more about Pallavi? What's your background? We'd like to know your personal and professional journey. Have you always been in the financial capital, Mumbai? Which part of the country have you grown up in? And what has brought you into the telecom space?
Okay, so I come from a very small town called Mangaon, which is at the border of Goa. It's a very beach destination, I will say, everybody's dream destination to be in Goa. I have grown up in that part and I studied in residential school. So when at the age of 10, at the age of 10, I studied in the residential school. And since then, I'm out from my family. So of course, like it was how the independent behavior should be. So I studied or I learned that very hard way because I was in hostel. Everything I used to do on my own, right? So since then till my graduation, I did my engineering in electronics and telecommunication from Mumbai University. And
Uh-huh.
then like after that immediately I of course I worked with some other companies before joining Globe Teleservices, but I would like to tell you some interesting story like how I ended up with GTS. So after my BE, after completing my BE, I wanted to do MBA in telecom management, so I enrolled myself in some college in Mumbai. And of course I was working during that period, but when my admission got confirmed. So I quit my job. I went to my hometown because my college was supposed to get started. When I came back, I came to know that college is not happening. Like college is not starting immediately as per the given dates. So I got very nervous. I got very pissed off, in fact. And I walked up to the director of that college and I asked, like, what should I do? I have quit my job as well. So he suggested, Pallavi, why don't you do one thing? Like, I will set up a meeting with one of the company's director. It's a new upcoming company, I'll say, and I will set up your interview. You can have an internship over there for 2 3 months, and then you join the classes. Then you join the college. I said, okay, at least something is better than nothing. So that's where I still remember the date. It's 11th July 2014. I remember that date because it was my dad's birthday. So my first interview with Ashutosh Agrawal. Now we both met in Powai, and he took the interview. But for him, I was just a fresher, came out from the college with few months of experience in the corporate. So he just took like half an hour interview, and he said, "Okay, join from Monday then." And that is how I ended up with GTS. My journey started in July 2014 with Globe Teleservices. So I joined as a business development manager, working directly with Ashutosh. Immediately I, so of course this world of, carrier services, international voice, international A2P messaging was new for me, even though I come from telecom engineering background. So it took really, it was really hard time for me to understand it pretty quickly, but I did that with, you know with support of all my colleagues during that time. And the immediate one project which I was put in was the Africa as a market. That's the newly market, GTS was exploring. Immediately after that, like, I had to travel to Kenya, my first international trip, my first flight trip, I'll say, the first time I sat in the aeroplane, I'll say. And it was
Oh my
always,
God.
yeah, different experience. I still remember the date was 10th March 2015. That was the first time I sat in the aeroplane, and that too for the international flight, and that too for the Africa.
Was that your mother's birthday?
No. That's a milestone, I'll say, because I'm really good with the dates. I create those
Absolutely.
memories. So, because I believe in carpe diem. Carpe diem means live in the moment, right? So, I make sure that every moment I do enjoy, I do live it to the fullest.
That's amazing.
That's how the Africa journey started. And then, of course, I made very good relationships in African continent, and met many people, many different people. I saw the different culture, and this is how I grown up that market, of course, with the help of my colleagues, with the mentors and everybody. Slowly in 2016, that was another milestone, I'll say. I got my marriage got fixed, by the way. So somehow our management team, they thought that after getting married, I may not prefer to travel a lot. So they thought, okay, let her put her in Asia market, Asia region, which is easy to travel, and it was just newly, developing market for us at GTS.
Right, right.
So I took up that challenge as well. And of course, like, then I grew up that market. I traveled almost all the 13 countries in Southeast Asia, except Brunei. I didn't go there, but rest of all the countries I have traveled, I made the relationships. In fact, we got almost 8 operator connects during that period, during those 2 years, from this market, from Southeast Asia market.
Wonderful.
And the journey goes on. You must have seen on my LinkedIn profile as well, like, I got the award employee of the year.
Uh-huh.
I always used to get that employee of the month, because I see whatever the target I used to get, I make sure I'll deliver 200% to that. So at least till 2020, I always doubled, my AOP targets.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, ongoing. Like, I can share more, but I think 45 minutes will not be the time to share everything.
That's really amazing, Pallavi. And for all the listeners, she mentioned Ashutosh. That's the founder of
Yes,
GTS she was referring to.
yes.
And quite an exotic experience that the first flight that you sit on goes straight to Kenya. And Pallavi, let me tell you, it's a coincidence. For
Mhm.
me, also, the very first time I took an international flight, that was to Kenya. So I think we
Wow,
both have something in common.
something in common. Great, great, great. But I must say, the weather, the atmosphere in Kenya is the best, by the way.
Yeah, and so are the people out there. I think it's a wonderful country, and the people are very genuine. So
Correct,
it's a lovely experience being in Kenya.
correct.
So Pallavi, since you talk about carpe diem and seizing the moment,
Yeah.
tell us about one most memorable or impactful moment that has been there in your career so far.
Of course, I do have many, but I would like to mention one particular moment which I would like to share with everybody out there. As I said, my journey with GTS was, of course, it was up and down, but always, accepting new challenges and exploring new things, and, making sure that whatever is given on my plate, I'll make it double. So, in 2020, we had a sales kickoff in Jaipur. Like, it was 3 days kickoff. So this moment I'm particularly talking about was on 1st February 2020, just before the lockdown. I was announced to be a partner in Globe Teleservices. That was so generous, and, from the GTS management team that they decided that Pallavi can be in a management team and can be a partner in this company. That was a moment, like I will say, it was overwhelming for me, and it was amazing. I can still get the goosebumps by imagining that moment now.
And were you informed in advance that this is going to be happening?
I will not say in black and white, but yeah, it was coming in. So day in day out, I was in discussions, but was not in black and white that time.
Wonderful. That's amazing, Pallavi. And I think there has been no looking back for you ever since you joined GTS. And we really hope that you achieve even more accolades and more leadership positions in the time to come.
Thank you, thank you. In fact, I feel my family and GTS family is the same, right? So we call it as a GTS family. So if I have anything to share, if I'm in any trouble, I have people around me. So in fact, I would like to share few moments where why we are not only me. There are other people also, like, who are so attached with this group, this family, is because during the COVID time we have seen very hard time during entire this 2 to 3 years, I believe. And during 2021, 2021 April, most of the people were down on with COVID Omicron virus, right? So even I was the one, and the unfortunate thing was I was carrying that time. I was 7 month pregnant, and suddenly, like, my condition got worse. And my husband, he is a marine engineer, so he was on ship that time, and he got stuck on ship. He couldn't get back because he almost sailed for 7 months during that time. And I was all alone here, nobody to look after me. And the third day of my COVID positive report, my situation got worsened. So I had to get admitted, and that time I was not getting any bed in the hospital. All hospitals were flooded. So who helped me during that difficult time? So my GTS people. I can name out few people from them, like, of course, Ashutosh, Srishti, Tejas, Manish. All these people were there with me. In fact, like, to get me admitted, and then I was there for almost 11 days. It was horrible time, and everybody was down with the COVID. By the way, even Ashutosh was down with the COVID, but we survived with the help of each other. We had a group, a health checkup group. So I used to update on that group, okay, how I'm feeling today, what is my condition today, what medication I'm taking, and everything. So everybody was, kept checking on me whether I'm okay, because I it was not just about me, but it was about my baby as well. So that was a turning point as well, I can say. Very difficult, and my family, GTS family, was there to support me.
Wonderful. And I think, there can be nothing better than working in a company which transforms from being colleagues to being family members. And I can truly make that out in your incident out here. So, Pallavi, shifting gears a bit, we've spoken about the telecom side. Let's talk a bit more about the human side of Pallavi. So, tell us something which listeners might not know about Pallavi.
Sure. So I don't know, like, how you pursue me when we met for the first time and when we met couple of times. So everybody think they have like, looking at my body language, maybe they feel that I'm very strong lady, I'm very
Uh-huh.
strict lady, I'm boss lady. I heard these kind of comments, or the perception from other people. But down there, down in my heart, I'll say I'm really emotional. I can't see pain in people's eyes. So one of my dream, I will say, is definitely help poor girls out there, underprivileged girls, to give them education, help them with their careers. And I'm talking about the one who are not having a proper education system in the villages. India is very big
Right.
country, and it's a heavy population already. 18% of entire world's population stays here. And you know how the situation in village areas. So I would like to help underprivileged girls for education and for making their career, making them independent, and that is one of my dream, I'll say.
That's wonderful, Pallavi. And incidentally, I think you yourself mentioned in the beginning that you come from a very small town. What
Correct,
would be the
yeah. So
population of the town that you come from?
maybe few thousand people, I'll say.
Oh gosh, that's it.
Yeah. Few thousand people, not exactly
Wonderful.
the numbers, I don't know exactly, but yeah, yeah. So that is also hard time, Anurag, because how that happened, I'll tell you. So I was in fifth standard, and my father passed away. So we were like, we are three siblings, and my mom was only there. She was just 36 years old that time. And suddenly, like when I was in fourth standard, my dad, he appealed for some exams. He submitted a form on my behalf, which is called Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. I'm sure if you are aware about this school, but this school is present in every district of the India. So this
Uh
this
huh.
this has been started by Rajiv Gandhi long back in 1986. So this is the exam. They have a kind of a scholarship exam. And suddenly, when my dad passed away, after 2 months, the results came out, and I was selected in that. So out of 4,000 students, they select 40 students based on the
Oh
merit.
wow.
So I was one of them, and I'm so grateful, of course, to the entire education system what Rajiv Gandhi created that time. And that was very difficult situation for us. And like we decided, okay, I will go because I was just 10 years old that time. So I'm getting emotional now. So that's the journey how I started, and that's the reason I would like to, help underprivileged girls out there to grow.
That's amazing, Pallavi. So you've always learned to be in that 1% bracket, whether it's at work or academics. And I think that truly shows in your disposition. Amazing. So,
Thank you.
Pallavi, what about outside of work? Since you mentioned that there are more sides to me than just being a boss lady. So, how do you recharge yourself? What are your passions like?
So, of course, I do love to travel, and that's the reason you saw me. I keep traveling, but there are certain parts to be, taken care. I have a beautiful daughter now. She's just 22 months old. So if you ask me now, what is my recharge? My daughter is my recharge. So whenever I go home, she's there to say hi, mama. She will hug me, and that's where you get all the energy. Even though tirelessly I'm working at the office, once I'm home, I'm fully recharged again. So yeah, that's the main factor I have. Of course, we have a very good support system, which helps me to do more in my work side, and which helps me to travel as well without any fear in my mind. So thanks to my family as well, because my in-laws, my husband, they take good care of my daughter. So that's how I am.
That's amazing. And yeah, family can always be such a big support. So, Pallavi, moving ahead, we are going to play a small game. So, I'm going to throw a couple of words towards you. And
Mhm.
with each one, I want you to be honest, be genuine, be human.
I'm always honest, right?
We are hoping for that, yeah. And we're hoping that continues in this round as well. So, a couple of words, and we'd love to hear what comes to Pallavi's mind. Right?
Sure.
Are we ready?
Yes, I'm
Awesome. So the first one is telecom.
Globe Teleservices.
That's your one-stop shop in life now, right?
Yes.
The GTS family.
Yes.
Okay. So the next one then would be best friend.
Too many, including my husband,
Okay. Unstoppable.
Pallavi.
Very smart. You really deserve the place you're at. You're amazing. Okay. Podcast.
Anurag, humans of telecom.
Very smart. Now you're throwing it back at me. Okay, the last one. I'm hoping that we hear something different and interesting. So, your dream.
Oh, wow. I have so many dreams, Anurag, but I will mention one out of that here. So, this is my dream to be featured in Forbes magazine, 40 under 40 CEO. So, that's one of my biggest dream I have right now.
And I think you have quite a few years still available for you to get onto that journey, and you're way ahead in that journey already.
Are you indirectly asking my age?
Well, we know for a fact that you're a very young telecom executive, young budding telecom leader, rather, if I may put it that ways. So I
Yeah.
think you're quite up there already. So I know for a fact that you have some time, and I know for a fact that you will achieve this because you set your eye on this, just like everything else, and I think you will do a great job at that.
Thank you. Thank you. Anurag. Your blessings are always welcome. Always help me, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. My blessings, and more than that, all the listeners and all the people around you. I'm sure you'll
Yes.
do a wonderful job.
Yeah.
And Pallavi, tell me that you mentioned about your daughter. So how is it like being a working mother and being at a top leadership position? You mentioned your family supports you. That's great. But how is the experience like? And is there anything you'd like to share with our listeners about this?
Sure. So, being a working mother, I must say it's really difficult. But being a mother itself is a very difficult task, by the way. It's not only about working
Uh-huh.
mother. Mother is always working, right? At
Uh-huh.
home or out of home. So, definitely, it's quite difficult sometimes because you have to choose between your work and your family. So you have to do many, compromises, but when you have clear goal in your mind, when you know what you aspire to become, then definitely you will find the solutions as well, right? So my message to all the listeners, especially the women listeners who will become a mother some other day, so it's not about only your child, it's about being you as well. So don't put yourself in a second priority, always put yourself in a first priority. Of course there are responsibilities, your child is dependent on you, but somehow you need to balance both work as well as your home, as well as your responsibilities towards your children, and somehow you have to sail through, right? So there's nothing can stop you to grow, nothing can stop you to succeed, but don't have that grudges in your mind that, oh, I'm working, I'm not able to pay attention to my child. No, it's not like that. Child will always be there, they will find their own way as well, but do not forget yourself in this journey and enjoy this every moment with your child. That's it, like I would like to share this all.
These are some fantastic thoughts, I must say, Pallavi. And I think amongst all the guests we've had till now, these are really some amazing thoughts which we've got from you. And thank you so much for that. And it's being such a fun conversation with you. One doesn't want to try and take it to the final section, but sadly, so here we are. All good things do come to an end at some point. So we are on a final section, the signing off section. So, Pallavi, you are half the time in the air, or I think you're more in the air than on the ground. So you've got a husband who's a marine engineer who's more on water than on ground, and we've got a lady out here who's more in the air. So if somebody wants to meet this wonderful upcoming 40 under 40 Forbes leader, which are some of the conferences or events you are attending in the next coming few months where somebody can catch hold of you?
So definitely I'm there on most of the events, but the next event is upcoming ITW, International Telecom Week, happening in Washington DC from 13th to 17th of May. So I'll be there all 4 days and would love to meet all the people, all the industry friends over there.
Uh-huh. And anything else lined up after ITW?
I will be traveling to my favorite part in Africa.
Which is which one?
So I'll be going to Ethiopia.
Ah, okay. So, guys, book your tickets either for ITW in Washington, or if you're not going there and you're still very motivated, then you have Ethiopia as the
Right.
other.
Beautiful country in Africa.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Pallavi, given all the wonderful thoughts you've said so far, I'm sure you'll have an amazing answer out here. So, we are now on to our final question, our signature question. What
Mhm.
does being human mean to you? What sort of a human being would you want the world to remember you as?
So as because what I experience and what I want to be treated, so I would like request everybody, treat every human as you know, the way you want to be treated in the society, treated in the workplace or anywhere else. First you be that, right? So don't hurt other people unnecessary, to be honest. And being human is, it defines being human, right? So humans of telecom, because thanks to you are focusing more on a telecom side of it, because you have seen many people around there. We have heard your previous 10 episodes as well. Everybody has different life, everybody has a different perspective, and everybody has different things on the platter. So be genuine with each other, be be the way you are, and that's all. Like, be kind to everyone.
Right. We even had David Weiger on the last episode, and even he wrapped up his statement with
Yeah.
being kind. So I think these are some wonderful thoughts, Pallavi, and it's been wonderful to have you here today.
Thank you, Anurag. And I know I got a little bit emotional with this because I have shared something which I never shared with anyone in the industry. And I hope it will inspire, it will motivate others as well. There is no looking back. Keep going, keep growing. That's the message I would like to give everybody. And at the end, to be honest, success is not a destination, it's a journey. So travel this journey together and succeed in your life.
Success is not a destination, it's a journey. What a wonderful thought, Pallavi. So, on that note, thank you so much once again. And to all our wonderful listeners here, as always, thanks a lot for tuning into the show. We really hope that this episode gave you a wonderful glimpse into this amazing human being known as Pallavi Kudtarkar. Even though we've been colleagues for a while now, there are so many new facets of Pallavi that I got to learn today. So, as always, do stay tuned in because we shall soon be releasing yet another episode and more compelling stories of other telecom professionals. And do follow the podcast on your preferred streaming channel. On behalf of Humans of Telecom, this is your host Anurag Aggarwal signing off for now. Take care.